Mail time. Hashtag Ask POD. We're doing a double-sized mailbag today because it's the middle of July, and we're all hot. We've dealt with pets over the 4th of July, and it's time to just take more mail questions. This is where Ryan takes the stage. He's asked me not to use the title. Actually, he did not ask. He did not ask me. I'm just doing it out of deference. Someone's already called Ryan the title this week. So, as the master of the mail here, Ryan, would you like to look inside your mailbag and let us know where we are going to start?
I like how we've stepped away from being the oldest people in the room to being the most immature young people in the room.
This was a
From break back into the podcast. That's awesome. I'm glad we can do that. Yeah. So this mailbag is brought to you by Never Letting the Party Die. So first question: thoughts from my couch at couch_thoughts_. What is your all-time favorite Lions game to rewatch, and why is it the Green Bay Week 18 game?
Hold up, but we're talking all time. I've got to go back to 2016. Which Vikings game was it with the Golden Tate butt flip?
Oh man, that was on the road.
It was on the road. It was November.
It was not the Thanksgiving game. They played him on Thanksgiving.
Oh, that's right, Thanksgiving. Yes, and that was the Darius Slay pickoff.
Correct.
I want to say it was in October. It was earlier in the season.
No, it was November 6th. It was November 6th. I remember the game.
Oh, so they played Minnesota twice in the same month.
Yes. November 6th, 2016. That's my favorite Lions game to rewatch.
It's a good one.
Yeah, it is a good one. I would say if there was one game that was my most rewatched game for a while, it was Matthew Stafford's game against the Cleveland Browns in his rookie season. And it was mostly just the final drive. Because that is maybe the most iconic NFL Films Detroit Lions video ever. And I don't think I'm necessarily exaggerating there. But if we're talking maybe an overall game, and to be fair, like that was a ridiculously fun and crazy overall game. But most fun Lions game ever, I feel like I might have to pick something from that 2016 season too, or oh god, I don't know. Maybe the Calvin Johnson. How many yards did he have against Dallas in that game? Like, I don't know.
You're stealing my answer.
I'm sorry. Well, then you get into it better because I feel like you're researching it right now and you might have more context to it.
So I don't know. So it's a take your pick because I don't. What about the Matthew Stafford fake spike touchdown?
Yeah.
I mean that's a great game in itself too.
Yep.
I think that one was 2013, if I'm remembering correctly.
I believe that's correct.
I mean, I think my most rewatched game is the Calvin Johnson goes off when the Lions are down however many.
Yeah.
And I mean the touchdown catches and Bobby Carpenter with the fumble return, like, yeah, no, that's a really rewatchable game for me too. Next question, as I dig back into my mailbag, let's have a kind of fun-hearted one from Attractive Minister at Fox the Magnet. Dude, I'm going to read their names. Okay, yeah, the Fox Magnet. If you were stuck on a deserted island for a year, which 3 Lions, staff, or players would you bring? Entertainment or survival reasons are accepted.
Okay.
Well, I feel like Frank Ragnow is like the center square in bingo here. Like we all have to have him, right?
Pretty much. Like if you want to survive.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ragnow. I'm going to throw Campbell in there, Dan Campbell in there too. Just he seems like he's got the will to just kind of like stitch things together. Yeah. Lift too.
Okay.
Jeremy,
If I want to be on a deserted island, my entire thoughts are towards getting off that island.
So you have Ragnow, Campbell, and then who's your third?
That's a good question.
You're gonna have to have Jamal Williams just so you can have someone talk your ear off, or you talk their
You
ear
know
off
what? That's
about
true.
anime.
Yes. Jamal Williams. Jamal Williams.
Someone to keep you comfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Someone with which to pass the time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, it says for an island, so I don't think escape is even an option there. So yeah, Williams.
Okay. I'm gonna throw Jeff Okudah on the island with me as well because I feel like that dude is going to fight through any sort of adversity possible.
Fair. I mean, that's very on brand for you.
Yeah, for sure. Any opportunity, like I'm gonna just try to turn Jeff Okudah into an answer on every single one of these questions.
As you're driving the bandwagon for Jeff Okudah.
I need to outdo Eric now. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I feel like there has to be an entertainment source, and I feel like I might get sick of Jamal Williams' shtick after a while. So I need to get someone who's just after a while. I'm not trying to throw shade at the guy.
Shade.
So I need someone who's just going to be a constant source of entertainment and might throw me off guard. And I mean, Dan Campbell's the easy answer there, right? Like I think he's going to have stories for days and be a seriously entertaining person. But I want to pick someone else, and I'm not sure who that is. I feel like someone else on the coaching staff has got to be full of a lot of Aaron Glenn. I think Aaron Glenn. I could just listen to that dude talk for a while.
I was going to say Deuce.
Deuce,
but,
Deuce is probably
Glenn's
up there
fine.
too. I'm going to say Aaron Glenn though. Steal your favorite guy, Ryan.
No, so the only other guy that I want to suggest is Aleem McNeil. Like that guy is going to be able to put together whatever he needs to put together because he's just going to be the brains and the brawn of the operation of Get Back Home.
True. If there's
Here's
some sort of physical threat, Aleem McNeil's a nice guy to have on your side.
Frank is the survivalist, and then like you said, you just need some leadership. So that's why you turn to the coaching staff, and it's hard not to pick any of those guys.
Here's something I want to answer for Hard Knocks to help out this question. I want to know who's the best cook among this Lions staff and players. This is something we got to learn from Hard Knocks.
Deshaun Elliott wants to get into culinary.
That's right. That's true.
His NFL career. So
Kelvin Shepard has the best food Instagram on the team.
I knew it. We couldn't leave this segment without Jeremy talking about Kelvin Shepard.
Listen, just Kelvin. This is a podcast that is now sponsored by just the people Kelvin Shepard and Jeff Okudah.
All right, next question. I guess these would be considered related to one another, as the notes say, but I'll go with from Aaron Martin at Aaron Martin SFU on Twitter. He says, what would you consider a successful season for Jeff Okudah this year? Not in necessarily becoming the player that was projected when he went third overall. That seems lofty, but in just becoming an important piece of the defense. And I'll give you the side question from South Detroiter. If Jeff Okudah ends up being Chris Houston, is that okay with you? I think I would take that.
It's a good question. Both of those are good questions, and I think it depends on which Chris Houston you're talking about, right? Before he came to Detroit, he was pretty good and thought of as a solid free agent pickup. Then he had maybe one good year in Detroit and kind of slid the rest of the way. But if we're talking just 2022, which we are, what is a successful season this year? I think it's average level play for a CB1. Just like, in that, even I think in that like 16 to 20 range PFF amongst CB1s, not amongst all corners, amongst CB1s, that would be I almost would consider wildly successful because I'm not expecting him to come in and be a top 10 corner. I'm not expecting him to be a guy that lives up immediately to his, third overall pick. But if he can be an average number one corner, that is a huge win, not only for Jeff Okudah, but for the Detroit Lions, because they've been lacking a number one corner period since Darius Slay ran out of town.
Jettisoned.
I was trying to think of a nice word to say there.
Yeah, I think middle of the pack is about where I'm at too. This is funny. We had someone who tagged all of us, I think earlier this week on Twitter, who was asking for like over under on pick sixes for Jeff Okudah. What did he set it at? Because it was high.
He set it 1.5, which is that like, alone is high because pick sixes don't happen.
They're very random. Like I feel like if you're gonna bet anything, you'll bet for like the half. And I think you said that, Ryan, right?
Yeah.
You'll bet over under
the
a half.
at, plus money for sure. But do you have anything to add, Chris, other than
No. I guess
my
point.
I guess the pack number one corner.
I'd like to see middle of the pack, and like I just don't know where I'm going to go if I would prefer him more towards like pass breakups, interceptions, or just on coverage in general. I think it's just better if he's just got a guy locked down. That's enough for me. I don't need to see him doing big play Slay type of stuff. I just need to see him, taking his side of the field and just making it a hassle for whoever has to play against him.
Yeah, I mean, I think the best statistic that you could look at is like maybe completion percentage allowed at his targets, or passer ratings maybe a little bit of a weaker stat and more flawed stat, but I think the thing that really bothered people about his play early on is the amount of big plays that he gave up. So just seeing a cut down on that, which is not an easy thing to cut down on. Receivers are ridiculously talented in this era of modern football, and rules are tighter and tighter against defensive backs. But I mean, if he can limit big plays to, I don't know, like the 5 to 10 range instead of the 16 to 20, be huge.
And that would be a good sign for where he is with his Achilles too, because that would mean like that he's not getting, because when those big plays happen, it's going to be because, your corner gets burned.
Sure.
And if the Achilles is doing well, he's going to be able to cut and keep pace with whoever, he's covering.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think what I'm hearing is if he ends up being a Chris Houston type of player, that might be a little disappointing. Because I think you look at Chris Houston's body of work when he was in Detroit, and like Jeremy said, he had the 1 year where he had 5 interceptions, and he had 2 of them, funny enough, that he took back to the house, and one of them was that 100-yard interception return against the Broncos.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, Chris Houston could kind of be understood as like a boom or bust corner, like either he's making a play or he's not making a play, and I think
we're arguing for a different archetype here.
Yeah. I think you're looking for somebody from Jeff Okudah who's like going to like limit the big plays more so than you see give them up
a little bit. But I would say if you got average Chris Houston this year out of Jeff Okudah, I wouldn't consider that a major disappointment. If that's all that he amounts to beyond 2022, that would still be a disappointment.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Fair enough. All right. So can we fit in one more here? I think.
Yeah. Let's fit in one more, and then we've got we'll do a bunch of these on the other side too.
Okay. So I'm going to skip ahead to this one from Phil Murray at Phil23 Murray on Twitter. He says, Sun God or Baby Shark most receiving yards this season?
I feel like we've had this kind of question before, and I think we've argued that it's kind of hard to tell how many receiving yards Amon-Ra is going to get, because he's going to probably be used in a lot more of a shorter passing situation this year, since he's not going to be a Swiss Army knife. He's not going to be asked to do everything with the new plenitude of wide receivers that they have. But I guess I'm going to go I'll still go Sun God. I think Sun God will have more receiving yards than Shark.
Yeah, it's tricky because I think it's a matter of Amon-Ra getting more targets versus DJ Chark getting more yards per catch, because I think that's what you're going to get. I think yes. Amon-Ra is going to get targeted more because he's he can do more things. He can do a wider variety of things than Chark can do. Even though Chark is a guy who said, I like what they're building here in Detroit because they are using all of their wide receivers in so many different ways, and he's going to get an opportunity to do things beyond just being a deep threat. But as someone, we saw the way that Jared Goff connects with certain receivers and how important it is for him to develop a chemistry with someone, and that doesn't make him different than most quarterbacks. But we saw last year, I think maybe a very exaggerated version of that, where as soon as Josh Reynolds came in, like there was that chemistry, and so I think he's going to immediately come in and have that chemistry with Amon-Ra it might take a while still for him to develop it with DJ Chark. So I'm with you. I think it's going to be Amon-Ra, but I think it could be very close.
And I mean, late in the games, even before we knew Amon-Ra was Amon-Ra, like Amon-Ra St. Brown was getting plenty of dump off targets as well. Like, so I think that just by volume and the fact of what we know where St. Brown succeeds, like he's going to be not quite a safety valve for Jared Goff, but like if there's a dump off situation or if Jared Goff just needs to hit someone over the middle for a few yards, it feels like Amon-Ra is more. It feels like St. Brown is more designed for that role.
And we know Jared Goff is more comfortable making that pass than he is throwing it deep.
Yes, and we know and again to your point, third prong to that, he's got the chemistry and knows St. Brown can do that.
Yeah.
Last side question to just itch my betting or scratch my betting itch. That's it. The gap, because Jeremy, I think I agree with you in the sense that like I think it's going to be pretty close. Mm-hmm. Over or under 149.5 yards difference.
The gap between them. I'll just go under. I don't have a good explanation for it.
That's fine. I think it's going to be close. That's how betting is sometimes.
Yeah.
All right,
Chris, do you have an answer?
No. I've got no mind for betting at this time of year. If anything, I've you know what, we'll save that part for later. Do you want to try to fit one more in? You know what, we should go to break. And we can do like a longer third segment with the rest of the questions.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah, let's take a quick break here. When we come back on the Pride of Detroit PODcast, more Mailbag with Ryan, the Mailman General. Is that the title?
Oh man, I like that a lot better. I can put that on a resume.
Mailman General. I now think that's
way more impressive.
I don't think that's the usual that's the proper US title, but we'll go with it. We'll be right back on the Pride of Detroit PODcast.